So before the Avoirdupois were Salomere, they worshipped like Anu, the sun god, and some of his
Oh yeah.
followers are still active. So they're called the extinguishers, essentially. Those are probably actually a legit problem compared to the monophysites or whatever, but nevertheless. And that's out of character, just so you're aware.
Yeah. Duke Berenger is strongly loyal to the Archduke, brother to the Archduchess, and suspicious of the church.
And this document is meant to bring suspicion to the state, so we need one of those nobles that's actually allied to the church in some way, which leaves, I guess, our fourth noble there.
Duke Lothair d'Ancombe is the chief armorer to the Archduke and his troops, and a supplier of weapons and armor to many clerical forces as well. Rose to his esteemed position with the help of his brother, who is now the Archduke's Minister of War, and achieved his position while his father was alive, and has retained his ministerial post for an unprecedented 27 years.
Call me crazy. He seems like he would be one who would benefit if there was war between the church and the state.
Yeah, he does seem to be the best one to pass it off. Well,
he is also the most vocal in opposition to the Metropolitan gaining the position of emissary.
There we go.
Yep. He should be our target.
Yeah, he seems like the obvious one.
So how do we get it to him?
Well, I guess it depends on what he's up to, where he is.
Or
heck, we could even figure out where his house is.
So, he has a not a full estate, but
something like resident city.
Yeah, a residence in the capital.
Perfect. Let's look at his address.
All right, so he has very well armed guards standing outside his residence, as much to show off his stuff than as any actual need.
Right.
I'm very tempted to just try we have a letter for him. Make sure he receives it. Very direct approach. Since hopefully, let me just ask, is this, I don't know, if this is the sort of hours where he's not likely to be in, that's what I'd be very to do right now.
Well, what time are you doing this?
I guess ostensibly we would want to maybe sneak the letter in, is my thought. Or to do it via the gift strategy.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah, I see him.
All right.
Yeah, he looks imposing.
I guess the only question remaining, will this get us the desired effect?
Most likely.
Right. He gets an anonymous letter saying that the Archduchess has all these contacts or she's been helping heretics. He could use that as evidence against the Archduke to say, "Oh, church people, look at this. He's trying to stack the deck with heretics. He shouldn't be there." Right? If I understand it right.
Possibly, although the one who's doing bad things is the Archduchess. This is leverage against the Archduchess, and it is the church and the mayor who who are doing things that the Duke does not approve of.
Okay.
So the leverage on the Archduchess is only as useful as the leverage she can employ in turn.
Right. So she could get into, I don't know. This is a little outside of my
Yay, politics.
steal things. I mean, I acquire things.
You mentioned the house was under heavy guard, right?
Yeah, not necessarily a very good guard, but very well equipped guard.
Right. Given the way the city seems laid out, there's definitely back alleyways and such to every home, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it could be very possible, Max, if you want to do a little climbing or anything of that like, you could get up to one of these windows over in one of these back alleyways and just slip it in.
The old break and entering to the weapon merchant. Oh, I'd be dead.
This does seem rather dangerous.
I prefer the strategy
kill
that
the
doesn't
people?
potentially get me killed.
Okay, we could always just leave the message with the guards and see what happens.
Well, what are people's thoughts, I guess?
Well, again, I think the context is no one should know any letter even got delivered, I suppose. Just they are supposed to find the information, which is still sticking out in my mind. I feel like we need to do that. But,
Also, what kind of eyes on will you have as far as it actually being used, or do you even care?
we decide it ends up getting used, and if it doesn't, then we don't get paid. Otherwise, we could just walk back right now and say, yeah, we totally delivered it.
Exactly. So I think the implication is it's expected to be, used.
Lots of things to consider. It's downright Byzantine.
I get it.
Basilla's right over there.
All right.
Well, in any case, Max would not want to go sneaking into these guys' houses. She doesn't trust her abilities that much.
Let's make one precaution before we hand this letter off to one individual. Just in case they don't use it, let's make a copy so that we can pass it to other people who might use it if need.
Very true. I could simply make a few copies, and at least then we could try to deliver it to everyone and then see what happens. Maybe I'll just make a whole bunch and just drop it all over the town. They'll know it for sure by then.
I'm kind of liking this plan, actually.
I'm certain it'll get me shot down, but
Or it's your
maybe if I'm
shot.
high up enough.
Just get some of these faces out here where you guys can see them. All right. There's a couple more, but you haven't asked about them yet.
Oh, I suppose the church officials and the mayor himself.
The Metropolitan is the mayor.
Right,
So
right.
that's the black and white one.
I need a flow chart.
Duke Berenger to Cranier. What's it? Eh? You can't get out of here.
I guess anything else, or do we want to just go ahead and go with a plan? Be
Well,
done
yeah.
with this damned letter.
Yeah. I'm done thinking about politics. Let's just start delivering.
Alright, well, I'll make a few copies of this just so in case you want to attempt multiple deliveries. So, who is it going to go to first?
Right back to where we started.
I
I think
know!
that Duth. What was his name? Duth Lothair Dinklew?
Lothair de Endume?
And Clume.
Inclume?
The first one.
Yeah.
The elf French name.
Lothair.
Lothair. Since he seemed the most likely recipient, let us start there.
Alright, and how are we going to deliver it?
I'm not handing it to the guards.
So there are couriers about this city, right?
Here's a thought. Fireplace. Does the building have one?
Are
Sure.
you suggesting we Santa Claus this?
A little bit, yes. Is the
Sounds like
fire
a great
on
way to
right
get
now,
our
or
nice,
not?
friendly litter burn.
It is our late summer, early fall. It should not be that. Yeah, it shouldn't be on during the day, certainly.
Alright. So, I want to take just small precautions for the letter against, say, getting smudged over by charcoal or ash or something. And then I will take the letter, I will fly by and or over the house and drop the letter into the chimney. And just let what happens from there. How does this sound to everyone?
That sounds like it makes the objective.
I suppose I do want to try it a little bit without being, spotted or shot down or anything, so maybe I'll
And
try to
you-
be a little surreptitious about it.
And you're going to do this during daylight?
I'm thinking I might wait until nighttime.
Just make sure
Isn't
there's
that
a
when they
smoke
would
coming
light
from
a
that
fire?
chimney.
No.
All right. I'll say that there is a guard or two on the roof, so stealth and are you going to try and actually land on the roof to put it down, or are you going to try and baseball shot it?
I suppose I
Sorry,
could try a flyby.
basketball.
Make it sort of an aerial maneuver and wiggle weather sense into it.
All right, bombing run.
Letter drop.
Starting at 3d8, adding in the d4 for stealth, and I think that's about it. Just stealth and weather sense.
Difficulty is going to be D8 because letter falling.
Mm-hmm. So stealth bombing run and some exclamation marks. There we go. All right, cool. I'm looking at least a 6. Let's see if that is enough. Ooh. Tie.
What's the tiebreaker again?
I'd say darkness.
Sorry, what was that?
Darkness, unless the guard has night vision.
No, I don't have dark vision of any kind. Turns out ravens are not nocturnal at all.
Oh, I think he's talking about guard has dark vision. You are trying to
Oh,
be
the
stealthy,
guard has
not
it. Yes,
them.
that would perhaps be a tiebreaker of some kind. I could always say, like, I have adept control of the weather and via magic itself, and I can at least propel it the extra inch into the chimney.
I was considering having it teetering on the edge of the chimney as the guard's facing the other way, but in plain sight of it.
Just blow at it from a distance.
Happening.
So I guess that's up to you. Is the magic enough of a tiebreaker that I could just kind of, wave a wing over at it and just flops the rest of the way in?
Do you got another die to throw in?
Another die to throw in? I could always
or
say
for the mage.
supernatural.
Sure, throw in supernatural.
Alright, here comes another 2d8. Oh, I could always go for personality.
So the guards sense the shifting winds.
You know what? I think I'll roll my personality. I'm doing this as a kindness to the rest of everyone else so we can get away. Okay.
So he turns around as the letter flops into the chimney. And looks around. Glances around the sky, but fortunately you manage to get yourself some distance.
Right.
And yeah, what now?
Alright, time to return to Earth. Return to the group. Mission probably accomplished. I don't know, I can't see anything at night.
Uh-oh.
But I did
Let's give it a
one,
day.
so now you have to do a different one.
Let's give it a day to see if it works. Then move.
How are you going to see if it worked?
Well, I don't know.
I
Is there
suppose as soon as
commotion?
there's gossip
There's
around
gossip?
town. Like, I don't know, maybe someone could watch and wait for
Either
him to, like,
Gus-
come out in the morning and look very angry or something.
Yeah, stake out the... I don't know. Yeah, how do we tell?
It's up to you, I did my part.
Yeah, problem is the place that would be gossiping about this, you're not necessarily included in.
Very true. I suppose that could ultimately be up to Nefiru to infiltrate them anyway and at least see what the effect is. It's like, oh, I didn't know something so terrible was happening.
Well, at least he no longer has to be the one to make a delivery,
Yeah.
so to speak.
And so she could come by and pull the whole, hey, I'm visiting noble here to show off, so you show off and I'll show off. And see if, she's down in the dumps or looks depressed or worried or whatnot.
All right. So you're going to approach one of the dukes or the main castle?
The Duchess, the target of our letter.
The Archduchess. Got it. So there is some protocol related stuff that you have to go through, and yeah, go ahead and give me a roll to make a good impression.
Okay, that would be presences. Anybody else coming with me from the party?
I'm taking a well-deserved break, thank you.
I'm gonna keep Sam out of this in the event that it goes badly. So I'll stay behind.
I vote we
Alright.
send a badger in.
Oh. Are you sure?
Ooh, you're very noble.
Damn.
All
You
right.
want me to make the same roll for Rujet to possibly assist, or is this good enough?
Go ahead and do it. You've got 3 successes. Let's see if you can get 4. He is also very noble.
And that's a assist die. I spelled that very badly, and that didn't work as an assist, so I just got 3 successes.
So introducing your cousin does not necessarily make you a more impressive noble, but you are clearly the more important of the two.
Well, actually, he introduced her as, she's the more important member of the family. So that's how the assist would have worked. But he botched it somehow. He's got the credentials right, but it didn't impress her, it looks like.
All right. So with that many successes, you are greeted to the court, asked how long you expect to be in town.
Oh, not long. Just long enough to see if some business deals have borne fruit.
And go ahead, and the people who are there can roll gossip.
All right, well, she's got her marauders probably with her as an attachment, and they're speaking nothing but Delton. So they're probably more a curiosity to everybody than anything else. But what else do you want me to roll?
Well, using them as a tool to assist you in going, oh yes, it's so quaint, these things we do off in the other continent. Let me tell you about them now that they're demonstrating it.
All right, so that would be
Although
Well, this is why I said send a badger in, at least then you get at least 1 assist.
yeah. So the badger could come with then. Assist on what kind of role is this?
I figure gossip to have an ear about what's going on in the court,
All right,
presumably
and
related to the letter.
mind or will.
Mind.
And I've already used my ability once this encounter. I'm not going to throw it back out there.
Yep.
And she's basically going to try to get the Duchess to open up and talk about how's every little thing. And they're going to be talking over sips of wine and having girl talk and trying to, like, once again, get her to open up about anything that might be troubling her to see if that letter has actually taken effect.
All
Of course,
right,
this
so
might take some time and some, I guess, more gossip, or I'm probably going to end up earning carousing from this.
all right. Um. So let's see. All right. So one of the things you catch with that gossip is that Bollinger is Duchess Bollinger, not the Archduchess, but um, she's the one who's patting her coffers. She does not want to change the current status quo. She kind of wants the Metropolitan staying as the mayor. Does not want him taking the post of emissary.
Oh, fascinating. Do go on.
See. All the dukes are kind of speaking out against sharp giving the Metropolitan the position of emissary and bring bear their influence on the Archduke. The Archbishop, who's also at this court, is threatening each of their families with removal of the church favor. While the Archduke is left to fend off accusations of power consolation and complicity with Triskelion. So a lot of pressure heating up. The Duke you are watching, the arms master, gets in a word to the side with the Archduchess, who looks stricken.
All right. I have a D8 observation bonus with my pet, and I have listened to sense. Can I hear it? Listen to this? I don't think I have keys. Let me check.
Sorry,
No
what was that?
keys. I'm just wondering, with my species of listen, can I listen in with an observation?
It is going to be very hard.
That might help now.
All right. So Your pet spots it. Or- I'm not sure how well your pet is at conveying things that it hears.
Well, I should probably roll my species die because I got that as a listen.
All right.
Not so much of a help.
All right. It sounds like you definitely caught that there was something going on there, but your pet isn't able to convey what it was.
Right.
All right. Do we have any further plans here?
I don't think so. I just have a lot of information to convey to the party, and nothing seemed to lead to her being distraught or worried about the information that was revealed. So it might take some time for it to sink in if she's done it well.
Who would you
So-
suggest we give another letter to, if at all?
In the course of the party, later on, the Duchess does speak up against the appointment, and
Mission accomplished.
the church, the Archduke looks betrayed and starts threatening the local house as well. Let's see. All right.
All it took was just dropping it down the chimney. You know.
Let's see. One of the other nobles, Baron Gunther, or what is it? Did I get that name right? Duke Beringer. He drops another bombshell.
Ooh.
Right in front of he brings up a piece of parchment and announces that he has obtained word that the church plans for moving the Holy See from Triskelion to the Basilla.
Oh, that is pretty big news.
And let's see. And it's apparently a comprehensive document with like employment changes and all that. The Archduke is caught off guard by this. Church functionaries are totally surprised. And the Archduke finds this idea appealing. The church will seem less like an occupying foreign power and more like an ally. So let's see.
So,
Yeah, things are going on. It is. We've been at this for almost 3 hours.
close.
Do we want to call it a break here, or give me time to read up on this?
If you need time to prepare for next session, by all means, take it.
Yeah,
My judgment would be like if we have actually accomplished the mission somehow through this, it
It feels
probably
like we
would be appropriate to wrap it up. But I don't actually know if we did or not.
so
It
you
maybe
accomplished a submission, but if you don't decide to drop everything and go back now, there's going to be additional complications.
Wait, drop everything and go back just to Triskelia?
Or Harrow's Gate, minimum safe distance and all that.
Oh, okay. So our goal here is at least done.
Yes.
That's what it
sounds
seems like.
Okay, so
Okay.
mission accomplished. We delivered the letter. Let's get our gift, everyone.
White
get
Hoods,
out.
get out of here, Scoops!
It's way too spooky here.
We could, if you need more time to like create the campaign or something like that, we could.
Well, I'm running this
theoretically
out of the
stay and
book,
wait it
and
out,
we are
but-
just starting part 4.
Oh, okay.
How many parts?
But this more or less
Actually-
puts everything else into motion.
Yes. Actually, more like part 3.
Any gift you want to throw out, I guess.
Oh, Streetwise actually sounds appropriate.
All right,
I
that
have
on there.
Streetwise.
I probably want to actually consider if I want to keep that one or not.
What if you happen to have Streetwise?
That was Liz.
Yes.
Let's see. We'll slap down local knowledge and see what, and revisit this later.
Okay, so local knowledge. Yeah. Okay, I'll sell that back for 5 XP. Okay.
I could get forgery in the future. But maybe I'll just sell it. Well, that's something to think about.
Should
All
we
right.
read mottos?
Sure.
I'm Dr. Caesar. My motto is I have a cure for all ailments.
I am
All right.
Pharaoh Benjamin. My motto is my destiny is beyond your ken.
I'm Kunabald Kemp. Motto is, if you haven't prepared for failure, you haven't prepared for anything at all.
I'm Lady Maxima Josephine Vivian Rinaldi the First, or just plain Max. My motto is, don't worry, you'll remember me.
I think you did a lot to try and avoid that motto this session.
Yeah, but hey, we also would have, if we had gone the jewelry route, they would have remembered, so.
So this is not the end of a arc, so this is only 2 XP.
Yay!
Okie doke.
So are we going to be continuing this, or are we trying to get out now?
I think we're gonna take our money and get out.
Yeah, that's my plan. As soon as we had confirmation that this worked.
Yeah, take the money and yeah, like, all right, our work here is done.
All right.
We weren't involved in this church politics nonsense.
All right. That's not necessarily going to be the end of the adventure, but that is the thing I should be planning for next session. Got it.
All right then.
All
Did
right.
we successfully get paid or no?
Yeah, it's 2 gold.
Okay.
All right, so we'll divide that up properly.
How much would that division be? There's how many of us?
4.
So 24 divided by, well, 48 divided by
48 divided by 4.
yes.
So that's
12.
12 apiece. That's not bad.
Pretty good. Hey, I'm up to 40 gold.
The Pharaoh will use that 12 and repay the 1 she owes to whomever for getting her mount stable.
All right.
For now, I'll consider if I want to get like an additional die of sneak or something here. For stealth.
I could buy it.
Because that seems useful. Right.
So,
You're a sneaky bird.
Hey, I got lots of speed to begin with.
denouement. How do you think the session went? What do you think of the approach? This was a very I wasn't holding your hand session.
Yeah.
Right.
I think this is a very like, okay, here's a really hard problem. How do we solve it? And that was kind of clever.
I enjoyed
Right.
that,
The
yes.
problem itself was very intimidating, I think. But I do like just gathering information, figuring out what the situation is, and trying to make some decision based off of it.
Right.
Yeah, and I think I did a poor job of conveying some of the initial one, which again I will blame on the adventure module being poorly laid out.
Mhm.
I'm having to get information like from 4 or 5 different sections.
Yeah, so you're flipping around.
You are mostly sticking to one of the, I guess, storylines rather than exploring the other two.
Yeah, I suggested it a few times, like, hey, what if we, did it over here? That seems, like it could be a thing. But nobody really latched onto it, so I'm just like, okay, I guess we're just, going in the front here.
All right.
They really didn't have an entry for Duchess in there? In the. I don't know.
Yeah, for the Archduchess.
Some of your talk about this does have a
Like,
little bit of strange feel to it.
even the Gazetteer, the core book, when it talks about the castle, doesn't mention anything about the residence.
Wow. So there's no information on like the biggest named character in the whole adventure. That's baffling.
I don't think there's a name for the biggest named character.
Literally, they just we know the title of Archduchess and Archduke. That's it.
Yeah.
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 What? How?
Yeah, how does that work exactly?
I'm
not sure.
Or maybe at least it kept us like at a distance from them, I suppose, which maybe that's the point.
I must admit,
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like that was the first big hurdle, was the fact that that is a blank fucking wall. Oh, I don't know. Like, I feel once we got the idea that it's supposed to interact with the module through, I felt like this was pretty good adventure after that. Wow. Oh, that's baffling. Only other thing I have to say is I'm finding my knowledge of actual history than anything here. As again, they mentioned things like Monophysite, and now they're talking about moving the sea, which frustrating use of terminology, seeing as they're doing a lot of implication for this more being a representation of the Eastern Orthodox Church, as opposed to.
I
Roman
guess the whole
Catholic.
island is
Yeah, the
kind of like
Roman
an
Catholic Church had
encapsulation of that entire like sphere of religion, really.
Mhm.
Yeah, Triskelion is pretty much Rome. Chalandiser is pretty much
Yet they're doing,
Constantinople.
Constantinople. Huh.
but then they have weird separations where, the Roman Catholic has the single see of the Pope, whereas the Orthodox, you're looking at the Pentarchy. There's multiple different sees of power in that
Yeah.
organization. Even the further implications of. I'm sorry. I'm
you
getting
know
bugged
enough
out.
to know where they're
I know
going
enough
totally.
to know how many times they're just confusing everything. Ah, humbug!
Let's talk about the intricate separate holy pieces of Salumer, guys. Let's talk about that. Is it the body and the spirit, or is it the god is also Salumer? I mean, what's going on here,
Well, what's the deal with that?
Get out of here, Seinfeld.
Oh,
Because as soon as I
Yeah.
started hearing
Just gonna
monotheist, I started thinking like, all right, so they think God's real, exists somewhere, everything is one thing, and he's coming back probably. There's something crazy.
Yeah,
Well,
Eltosian, I'll show you the section of the Gazetteer about the church next game
All right.
this weekend.
all right.
Cunnibold is actually in my real life game, so I can share my book with him.
Oh, neat.
now I only need 100 more dinar so I can get the gold I need to make jewelry. And I have
that's
to pay
so that you
somebody to
can,
make it.
That's so that you can meet your requirements to be a noble, right?
Right. That's sort of like, if I'm gonna look the part, I have to have jewelry because like every noble has jewelry.
Well, wouldn't you know it, most of the party has 40 denarii by now, probably.
Well, I've got 40 something myself, but yeah, for 6 Orioles, it's 144 denarii. So
I'm
it's
sure you
just
could
one
probably
more
talk
piece.
like
There's
a friendly neighborhood raven into loaning you, a half of the sum.
well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I
We'll see,
still
we'll
have a
see.
ways to go before I'm ready to actually approach them.
All right. And for now, I think I'm ready to head off and get some relaxation.
All right.
So, catch you guys
See you
later.
next week.
Been fun. Thanks
right.
for running.